So there I was the other day, lying in bed with your mum, and she asked me, what's better, Jonny, than one bass guitar? And I said, Janet, 2 bass guitars. Hi, my name's Jonny, and today we are taking a look at the Satellite and Delta bass from Hartwood. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video because I am going to be telling you how you can win one of these basses. Now, you would be forgiven for not knowing who, what, why, when, where, how Hartwood is/was. Yes. Hartwood is a new in-house brand for gear for music, and they have very kindly sent me the first 2 basses that they have produced. Yes, that does mean that this classes as an ad, but it's not going to impact anything I say or any of my feelings about these. I'm going to be completely honest about what we've got here today. Hi, is that
Hello.
Hi, is that gear for music?
Yes.
Hi there, yes.
Hello. Hello, yes.
Hi there, yes. I'd like to see if you've got the perfect bass for me, if that's okay.
Yes.
Well, what I'm looking for is a Telecaster bass
Yes.
that has
Hello.
a pickguard in the shape of a surfboard.
Yes.
Well, if that's what you were after, then you're in luck. So just like your mum, it does have a strangely shaped body, and it's got some pretty typical specs for this kind of price range, as both of these basses come in at £200 each. We've got a basswood body, roasted maple neck, and laurel fingerboard. Now, one thing I really like is these inlays. They kind of go onto the sides like that. I think that's really, really cool. So big fan of that. Not a huge fan of the fretboards themselves. They do feel a little bit dry when you're playing them, I find. Tuners for this price range are kind of what you'd expect. The exact same goes for the Delta, of course, with a more traditional looking body shape and very similar neck specs in terms of shape and feel, the 40mm nut width. Now, I knew that one of these was a short scale, and I kind of assumed that this was a long scale, and I went to double check their website. On Gear for Music site, it says that this is a 30-inch scale and that this is a 29-inch scale, and so I got the tape measure out, and it turns out that this one is actually just over 32 inches from the nut to the bridge. So I don't really know why they're claiming this is a short scale. It's kind of a medium plus scale, I would say. And this is around 30 inches as well. It's definitely not 29. I don't really know where they're getting those specs from. But one thing I do like about these necks, and this is something that you never ever see in this price range, is a truss rod wheel adjustment at the base of the neck. Should be industry standard. Love this very much. With the Satellite, you've just got a single split coil pickup right up in the neck position, so it's just volume and tone. In comparison to the Delta, we've got a more traditional PJ setup, master volume, master tone, and then a pickup selector on the top here. Now, before we dive into the sounds, I do want to quickly talk about the fit and finish of these basses. I always try to bear in mind it is £200, so it's not going to be perfect. And I have seen a couple of little bits here and there where it's a little rough around the edges. Pickup covers are super sharp. The edge of the fretboard at the bottom here is super sharp. But what isn't super sharp is the fret job. Incredible fret job on both of these basses. No sprouting frets at all. But now let's have a listen to what these bad boys can do. So there we go. I feel like the choice to put the pickup right up here is kind of just an aesthetic thing to match this pickguard. To me, it just kind of leads to this tone that isn't very well rounded. It's kind of like spiky in the wrong places. However, I think that this bass would have actually benefited if the pickup was the other way round, to give you a slightly treblier sound on these bottom strings, to kind of combat the fact that this pickup is so far up in the neck position. Often you see like mudbuckers, humbuckers in this position right up against the neck, and they tend to scoop ever so slightly naturally. So to have a really mid-focused pickup really high up, bit weird. I think the way to get the best sound out of the satellite bass in particular is to dial back the tone a little bit. Don't make it try and sound like a precision bass or something like that. Make it sound a little darker. Play with your fingers. You know, it's that kind of sound I think sounds best with this bass. Trying to be less conventional, because it's not a very conventional setup in a way. So I would try and get something slightly different out of this bass rather than compare it to like your everyday P bass. The star of the show, however, has got to be the Delta. You get really close to that kind of Mustang kind of sound when you palm mute with a pick, roll the tone off ever so slightly, and just ride it on the P pickup. It kind of pains me to say it because I do like weird basses and stuff that's a little out of the ordinary sometimes, and this one is more on the conservative side in terms of aesthetics and setup, but it is just a better playing and sounding bass, I think, compared to the Satellite. Now, if you want to get your hands on both of these basses, then make sure you head over to my Instagram and enter the giveaway that I'm going to be doing of these two basses to celebrate me hitting 30,000 subscribers very soon. At time of recording, we're about 80 subscribers away, I think, so I'm hoping by the time that this video drops that we will have nearly hit that big important milestone. So make sure you go and like this video, subscribe, and also go and enter the competition over on my Instagram. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.